As we wrap up our podcast week, every week, courtesy of our friends at the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park, we invite you to bring us your absolute hottest takes. That's right. What's pissing you off? What's getting under your skin? What's the burr under your saddle? It's the flamethrower presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. David writes in and says, hang on a second. Let me get this straight. We elect a new federal government elected on a promise to make Canada an energy superpower. You would think that would be music to the Alberta government's ears, but no, says David. Literally moments after this new government is elected, the UCP goes on a separation campaign, something that apparently 2/3 of UCP members want, which goes against the clear majority of all Albertans. Is this truly about Alberta's prosperity? I think not. Not with all the healthcare scandals that this government's embroiled in. It says, I've lost count of the different ministers and the family members of the UCP leadership that are being directly accused of inappropriate conduct while governing, having their hands caught in the cookie jar. He says also 2 major unionized workforces going to strike action due to the incompetence of this government. It's very evident that this separation conversation is being used to distract from the utter buffoonery that is this current government. These actions have led to investment being halted on energy projects due to the uncertainty that this has brought to our economy. Also, the lack of respect for treaties and First Nations in this province is appalling. David says, do separatists really think that if they somehow pull off a successful campaign that the rest of us aren't getting the hell out of here? That would be a mass exodus of Albertans due to our economy while the province is doing to separate. What is that going to do, everybody? David says, things to ponder. He says, now that said, I do think Albertans want to give this new federal government a chance to fulfill their promise of new energy projects. We now live in a world where Ottawa is trying to grow our economy and the provincial government is standing in the way. Oh, how the roles have reversed. He says, I have one message to our premier, and that is call an election so Albertans can make a choice on this now before the government really screws it up. David goes on to say, by the way, the new official title for Alberta's most badass conservative has to go to Thomas Lukaszuk. Conservatives just choked on their Cheerios. And his petition to turn the Alberta separation question into a question about staying in Canada while using the old rules to get it done first. You bet your bottom dollar, says David, that I will be signing that petition and circulating it to my friends and family. You can check out our interview with Thomas Lukaszuk on the 22nd of May, anywhere you get your podcasts. How about this from Dawn, who says, Jespo, after listening to your interview with former PMO staffer Sharan Kaur, I was beyond outraged when she said, quote, the House of Commons, honestly, in my opinion, is more about theatrics than it is about getting anything done. It's about giving opposition opportunity to have the sound bites that they need, end quote. Dawn says her party, the Liberals, and other parties have caused the House of Commons to be irrelevant in the eyes of Canadians with their talking points, their non-answers, and their refusal to submit to the will of Parliament, despite the wet dream desires of the... What a great band name. Wet Dream Desires. I might name a band that. I might start up a... No? Okay. Back to the email of the Liberal Party. Running the government of Canada is not your right. It's a bloody privilege given to you by people like us. And to earn that right, you must answer legitimate questions during question period, provide documents to the Speaker when they're demanded, and be a responsible member of the committees you have been assigned to. And this goes for the opposition as well, says Don. Parliament is the house of the people, not a burden to the desires of the natural governing party of Canada. You know, Sharon wonders why she's the target of so much blowback on social media. Well, when your dear leader in 2015, Justin Trudeau, says this will be the most open government in history and then makes it something that Joseph Stalin would be proud of, well, then there's your answer. So make Parliament work, surprise the opposition with questions, maybe real answers, submit to the will of Parliament, and then just maybe you, other politicians and staffers, will regain some respect from Canadians. He signs off out of Saskatoon with a good day to all. Well, thank you very much, Don. And how about this one from Michael, who says, Jespo, a couple of flamethrowers ago, you read a YouTube comment from Patty. Patty was a little tough on you, Ryan, but she didn't seem to like that people were critical of the Premier when she was appearing on terrestrial radio. You want to treat ailments with bugs and mud instead of actual medically backed treatments? Fill your boots. Patty didn't like that I was hard on some parents that let their 18-month-old die of meningitis while treating him with mustard. Back to Michael's note. He says, fill your boots and I will see you next Tuesday, you misinformed toad. Don't ever show up at a Medi Center or a hospital when you have something horrible horrible happen to you. Just reach for a book on medieval remedies, Patty. Throw a leech on it. Don't dare clog up the healthcare lines for people that actually believe in science, you earmuffs, kids. You miserable asshole. Just wrap your wound in tinfoil, go to the nearest 5G tower, and you'll be saved. That from Michael, who sent us an email to talk@ryanjesperson.com. These views are presented, but not endorsed, by our wonderful friends at the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. That's Palisades, Namao, Newcastle, Westmount, and Baseline Road. When you stop in this weekend for a flamethrower signature stack burger and your favorite DQ Blizzard, you make sure you let them know that Real Talk sent you. Hey, have a wonderful weekend. Keep it between the lines, and we'll see you right back here on Monday morning.